The constitution that we now administer, the background to it is painful. People were detained because of this constitution. People were assassinated because of this constitution. People went through difficult times because of this constitution. We must uphold it. Parliament must uphold it. And members of Parliament, if you do not uphold this constitution, we shall become a banana republic. I said at the beginning that what is killing our countries is corruption. Let us not be shy to say so. Let us say so loudly. And this corruption is rooted in those who are holding portfolio bodies, officers. There's this book, I'm not going to read to you. The title of it is State Capture Inside Kenya's Inability to Fight Corruption. You have just heard what my old friend has said. Here is one of us, a citizen of Kenya, in Tuli. He was given the high office, and perhaps the most important office under this constitution of national or food security. Did he discharge the duties? The answer is no, he did not. He failed to discharge the duties as a minister in charge of food security. And we are asking very respectfully that you must go. You will be failing in your duties if you do not make the finding that he should go. I would refer you to Black's Law Dictionary. Majority of you are lawyers, so I don't feel embarrassed to make some reference to this book called Black's Law. There is a Latin maxim to the effect that it says it's res ipsa lucta. Res ipsa lucta. Don't worry. What it is saying more or less that you accept the act as it is, tells you what really you do not have to prove. We do not have to adduce evidence in this case at all. We do not have actually to go into detail about legal arguments and so on at all. What has happened speaks for itself. Fake fertilizers were put on the market. It speaks for itself that the Ministry of Agriculture is accountable. We don't need even evidence at all. And it goes further and says that the minister or the cabinet minister is accountable. And he should be the one who should be found responsible. Nobody else at all. We don't have to go into those things at all. Res ipsa lucta. I say to you very respectfully that we should adopt and we should make reference in our finding to that. In other words, we have proved the case. There's nothing to worry about at all. We have proved the case that the minister must go. There is nothing that, should stop him from being fired at all. Now, I would like to make reference to one or two other things. Reference to the constitutional provisions. And here I refer to Public Finance Act, Public Finance Article 201. Public Finance Article 201. If I may just read one sentence of 201. Principles of Public Finance. The following principles shall guide all aspects of public finance in the Republic. A, there shall be openness, accountability, including public participation in financial matters. It's my humble submission that in instant matter, there was no accountability at all. There was no, it appears as if there was no participation. It was something that was done, the money was spent in a secret manner, and so on. The other thing I would like to refer to is in the Black's Law Dictionary, no, the New Oxford English Dictionary, the New English Oxford Dictionary. And I'm referring to portfolio. Some people are wondering what is this Khaminwa is talking about for ministerial portfolio. Now, portfolio, according to this English dictionary, the position and duties of a minister or secretary of state. He took on the foreign affairs portfolio. That's what why I came up with this term, that what has ruined us, what has damaged us is corruption relating to ministerial portfolio. Now, this matter, for a cabinet secretary to be fired, this can be done by the His Excellency the President. It can also be done by Parliament. Now, we cannot blame the President in any way at all that he did not fire the minister. Because when the matter was disclosed, Parliament moved very fast. It moved very fast, and through my client, and the matter became an issue. It would not have been proper for the President to get involved at all. And what the President has done, with complete respect to him, was proper. He was silent. He did not take a further step in the matter at all, because the matter had been taken over by Parliament. Now, it is the duty of Parliament to make sure that it makes a contribution by making the right decision. And the right decision here, again, is that the minister in question, we have proved through evidence, we have proved through legal argument, he should not be allowed or permitted to proceed with his duties as a minister. In this connection, I'll make references very quickly to the Constitution, which I believe that may assist you when you are making your report. I refer to the Select Committee to Article 1, Sub-Article 1, which deals with all sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya. I refer to Article 1, Sub-Article 2, the people may exercise their sovereign power, and they are now doing so through their elected members. I refer to Article 2, Sub-Article 5, to the effect that the general rules of international law shall form part of the law of Kenya. Here I may pause and say that corruption has become an international issue. You find corruption in third world countries or in developing countries, but corruption is also found in developed countries. The difference here is this. In a country like a developing country like Kenya, Nigeria, Uganda, Tanzania, there is corruption which will always be there. For instance, a traffic police officer asking for some 500 shillings or 1,000 shillings. Such kind of corruption will always be there. But the corruption that is most serious is what we call portfolio corruption, where an individual who has been given a high office uses that office now to squeeze the country to get money financially. For instance, he is charged with the responsibility of making sure that oil is purchased or petrol is purchased. And he negotiates with some individual to make sure that there is a percentage. He gets a certain percentage. I remember a Chinese businessman in a top position talking to me and said to me, Khaminwa, this your country is funny. You find that you have done work, you put in an invoice, and you ask for so much money which you want to be paid. And when you present the invoice, someone says to you that, look, why don't you increase it a little? Why don't you enhance it with the invoice and ask for so much money? And the difference, he wants to put in his own pocket. Now, it is this kind of corruption, it is this portfolio corruption that ruins a country completely. Kenya was one of the first countries in Africa or in third world countries which was at the top. Other countries like Singapore and etc. came here, stayed here for several months, trying to study, to find out what is it that has made Kenya such a wonderful country. And indeed, the majority of our people are creative in ideas. They are hard-working people. Now, because of portfolio corruption, we have not been able to advance at all. Now, we have to set a precedent. And Binturi has to be the first one that this parliament has to make sure that it goes. If, honorable members, you cannot do that, my suggestion is very simple. You do not have to make the decision. According to your standing orders, which I have taken the trouble to read, you can find out whether a case has been substantiated or unsubstantiated. You can decline to make a decision and refer the matter back to the National Assembly. The National Assembly will make a decision, and inevitably the National Assembly would make the decision that the jury must go. Let us not forget, National Assembly, 149 people were honorable members voted in favor of this motion. It's only that something, I think 33 or 34 voted not. Let us make a decision. Let us be bold enough to make a decision so that we may make headway and we may give our country a good name and we may actually become, make progress in our economy, in our industries, and etc. With those few remarks, I urge you very respectfully, honorable members, be bold enough. Don't be influenced by petty ideas that so-and-so is not of my tribe. I must therefore make use of my tribe. I must therefore support him. So-and-so, this matter came up because of your XY ex-girlfriend of Honorable Ntuli, and he is trying to be victimized. It's no such things. I must state clearly, I happen to know this lady. I know her. I acted for her. She's a decent woman. She's a decent woman, very thoughtful. When you are talking to her, you feel proud that you are talking to a decent African woman with ideas. And you can't help but give her respect. I know her very well. I appeared for her in cases in court. And don't be influenced by such petty ideas at all. In other words, I'm urging you, rise from being petty men, talking about your clans, talking about your tribes, and talking about sex and what other things and so on, and become big men, so that or big women, so that we can actually make sure that our country progresses. If we fail, something else will come up, which will hit us very hard. I remember appearing for someone who had been charged with an offense of selling cat meat. This was my client. We lawyers sometimes find ourselves in a difficult position. You are under duty to defend the person, and he will tell you all sorts of stories. Sometimes you realize that stories that he's telling you are nonsensical. You advise him to plead guilty. He says, no, I'm not prepared to plead guilty at all, but you have to represent him. And he says to you that, hey, Khaminwa, I was selling sausages in which I had put cat meat. And when people were eating cat meat, oh, they enjoyed it. They were very happy. There were people like eating cat meat. You can see that this man is an idiot. He's talking rubbish and so on. But then you have to appear for him and do the best you can for him. Put forward his own defense and so on. But you can know that this person is talking a lot of rubbish. Now, throughout, since we started this matter, we have listened to a lot of stories. Some of these stories have been actually mundane, vague, childish, and etc. Let us rise to the occasion as a house. I'm appealing to you, honorable members, be on the right side of history, that you are broad-minded. The way people like Khaminwa were able to argue that human rights must be obeyed, must be complied with. Constitutional rights must be respected. We suffered. We slept on the cement. But at least what we did, things have improved. What you young people see of Kenya, Kenya was not always like this at all. Kenya was awkward. Policemen could have opened this house and picked up some people here when we were addressing the court. Kenya has changed. And the new generation is under duty to make sure that the Constitution is enforced, to make sure that the law is enforced. Otherwise, if you are not vigilant, you will go back and you will regret very badly. Our population is increasing. We are now over 50 million shillings. We need an honest Minister of Agriculture to run the country, to give people food security. Honorable Ntuli is not an honest man. He cannot do that job. Send him home. Thank you.